Here, what's going on, y'all? It's Zed here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about why balance actually fell off and became one of the unpopular schools in the current state. Obviously, the recent changes from Darkmoor has a lot to do with this, and it's not just balance, it's Storm, it's Ice, it's a lot of schools that actually fell off. That was super good in solo queue, and I mainly want to talk about balance in this video because balance is my main school, right? So let's get into it. I have a lot of things to talk about. Now, the barrier is probably one of the main reasons why this school actually fell off. The reasoning behind it is because like you probably need the rope and the boots and the, you know what I mean, and a lot of things from the raids. And if you don't have the previous gear for level 170 to craft at level 180, that will become initially a big problem for you. Now, a lot of you are going to say, hey, rating was never a big deal back then, but technically it is a big deal now because a lot of things are, we're having 7 schools max tiered and getting all those spellments. It's going to be a chore, of course. So if you're technically talking about one school, it is possible to just get a gear for one school, but unfortunately, a lot of players are just going to not play the other schools because they will just abuse what's up with the meta. Like, you know what I mean? Fire is pretty good right now in dev, and that's all they're going to queue. So it's just, that's why this is going to be a problem, that if you don't really take a step forward to actually implementing balanced stats for certain schools and, you know what I mean, bringing team PvP back, because a lot of schools are struggling and they're not making sense in 1v1 and everyone is just confused. And, you know, and this is the problem. A lot of people don't know that team PvP was initially the way to fix a lot of schools that have been unplayable for the past couple of years. But let's talk about balance right now. It has a lot to do with the lash reduction and the changes that was made on the shadow rating spells have been one of the reasons why these schools have completely fallen off. I'll show you here. As you guys know, Mock and Spiel, there is a lash to it. It's 1 pip, but you know the lash it's pretty bad and it's pretty broken right now. It's glitched. For some reason, people are dying on their second round of their lash when they kill someone, which is absolutely stupid. I don't know why they would put lash, for example, on shadow pips, on shadow spells. If you're requiring a shadow pip, I mean, this is not something that can really be great in PvP. So so that's why one of the main reasons why lash is pretty bad right now, and it's pretty boring. Waiting for a lash because certain gears do not give any shadow pip rating whatsoever. So I want to talk about balance. Let's say Mock and Spiel, for example, you need OTs compared to like what's that death spell Grim, for example. You can use shields for 0 pips. That's not hard whatsoever. But compared to Mock and Spiel, you need OTs to reduce slash. It's so dumb. How many OTs do you need? You need 3 because lash actually takes 3 rounds, and this is why it's a big deal compared to like try shielding for 0 pips. You know what I mean? It's unbalanced and it's unfair. Deaths can actually just shield while they actually, you know what I mean? It's super good. And this is one of the main reasons why certain schools can't reduce their lash, and they're taking what, 1800 from lash in general. Like this is not a way to actually say, hey, this is how we're going to do things, or either make it fair or just don't implement it into the game. Now, I haven't talked about lash reduction in my past video that I've uploaded, and this is where I'm going to talk about lash reduction. It's very important to reduce the lash in PvP. We all know this. We rely on shadow pip rating to use these powerful spells, and that's another thing. It's pretty bad to actually just rely on shadow pips in general just to do damage. That's really bad. Let's talk about Nova spells, for example. I mean, this spell is 5 pips and it barely does any damage. 340 is not. It's not compared to 690. It used to do a lot of damage. For some reason, they completely shafted that. After implementing, decent res and decent pierce and decent damage, they completely, took 300 damage from here. 300 something, 350. Yeah, that's absolutely insane. Like, that's unbelievably horrible. So games are completely based on, your shadow pip rating, and that's all it's going to be. So a lot of schools are struggling because of this reason. The Nova spells are completely shafted. The lower spells are completely shafted as well. You have Samurai that used to do 590, and now it's absolutely doing no damage. 300 base, max tiered. Like, that's so bad. Or sorry, 400, excuse me. And it's absolutely not something that I want to actually do or use, barely, because a lot of schools can actually just counter shields in general. So it's not a good way to actually trade. And you have spells like Hydra, which used to do 200, you know, it was balanced 200 per for 6 pips. It was absolutely balanced, and now it's doing no damage, and you know, it's echoing 5 shields. But again, schools, everyone can counter shields. Everyone is either carrying Pyro, Elephant, King Artorias. There's so many ways to actually counter shield. It's absolutely unusable. So damage in general has been nerfed, and schools have been like completely, you know, erased from Q in general. You know what I mean? We never had problems with the Nova spells. We never had problems with the lore spells. We never asked for any of it, and they completely shafted all those spells and buffed S'mores and Grim, and it's just like, you know what I mean? And gave life 17k HP. So it's just like I don't know what's going on. Now let me just go over certain spells. Like you know, the Checkmate is pretty good right now, 780, and it does a lot of, you know what I mean, healing. But technically, you can't really use the spell because it's a waste of, you know, it's a waste of turn. If that makes sense. Maybe they can counter healing. Maybe they can steal 2 heals. Who knows? A lot of people are set for lives, but I want to say this would have been great if, you know, certain schools didn't have broken shads, if that makes sense. It would have been amazing to actually just use this because it heals you for like 3k for something. If you have outgoing, you can actually get healed for 5k. It's pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, it's really OP. But the thing is, if you get S'mores, you need to be able to counter that. If you don't, you know, a lot of things can happen, and the match will go south instead of east. As you know, that certain schools are not to be fucked with in a queue, and you need to be debuffing. For example, you have Mockenspiel. You can use Shadow of Fate, but technically this is not viable because people could just blade counter your entire, you know, and you need traps on your opponent to reduce slash once again, something that impossible to pull off because everyone is weaving fire, like I said. Anyways, this school has been completely erased from Q. Not gonna lie, it's pretty decent right now, but it really can't do damage. I personally don't care. You know, if fire is broken, it just other schools needs to be on the same level as fire, I guess. Because if you're not doing the same damage as they are, you're not going to keep up with their you know, with their burst or damage. So once again, the school is decent. I'm not bragging, but I just want to do damage. You know, same with Myth, same with Storm. These are schools I'm looking forward to playing. These are schools that I'm trying to like make content out of once I get unmuted, but things are not being mentioned in the Discords and things are not being talked about. So that's kind of why I'm like making videos continuously to just like bringing attention to this matter, regardless of if they don't care or not. I'm just gonna keep making videos. I'm gonna be like, yo, this is not where we want PvP to be. It's pretty stale. It's pretty dumb. We want continuous updates and continuous patches. We can look forward to, because it's amazing to just read patch notes. I'm obsessed with patch notes because like it is exciting. It's a content to talk about. You know, once in a while, once we actually make certain changes on certain schools, buff certain schools every couple of weeks. I mean, that's content for everyone. It just brings people together, and you know, it just kind of shuts people up for a little while, and then when new things come up, you know, every couple of weeks. I don't really like the way they update the game once in a couple months or once in a couple moons. That's not going to. Things needs to be expedited. If you guys are working on something, just make sure that whatever you have done can be immediately put in the game, if that makes sense. Regardless if it's PvP or PvE, I don't care. Just it needs to be something that's just quick, certain changes, certain buffs. This is what we need. This is how we're going to balance PvP spells. This is how we're going to make changes. We're just going to keep buffing, debuffing. That's just how things are going to do. So pretty much that's it for my whole video. Hope y'all enjoy it. Leave a like, comment.